Hey everyone, happy 2019! It is a new year, which means a chance for you to start fresh, even though we really can start fresh almost every day. It helps us to sort of see this new year as a time to make some goals, change some things that we've been doing, look at our habits, and reevaluate. So on Monday, I wrote for you to be thinking about what worked in 2018 and what didn't. And this is everything, your habits, your goals, the systems you have, CHO things, non-CHO things, stuff with your work, things with your family, whatever it might be. And yeah, it feels like a lot of categories to go through. But in reality, we tend to already know what are the things we want to change. What are the things we don't enjoy, or what do we want to work on? What are the habits we've fallen into because it's just been easier to do them versus really think about and be mindful and say, I actually want to start incorporating this into my life, or I want to cut back on these things. So if you're like me, the holidays have been really crazy and you haven't had a chance to sit down and write out goals. I've been thinking about them, but I haven't had a moment to really do that. And my hope is that I get to do that tonight. And just to sit down and look at how was 2018 and how do I want 2019 to be? There's a lot of things out of our control. We all know this. But there are some things that I can be looking at in my life that I want to maybe change some habits or adapt some things. Now, some of you know in 2018 I had a huge goal of running 1,000 kilometers, and thankfully on December 30th, knocked that goal out. But it was a lot, to be honest. And I didn't think about it at the time. I just thought, wow, 1,000 kilometers sounds like a cool goal to have. I like running, sure, let's do this. And I wasn't really sitting down and saying, what can my body handle? How much time will this take away from my family? What about those months when we're just sick on repeat? And I found myself getting frustrated by this goal and almost getting angry at the goal that I set for myself because it just seemed so unobtainable at times. And so I really wish I had sat down before and looked at that goal and said, okay, how will I really conquer this? It's not about something that sounds like a cool thing to do. If you want to start implementing some type of exercise, if you want to be more mindful in parenting, if you want to be more organized at work, you have to stop and go, who am I really as a person? Like, what am I capable of right now? So my nature when I'm stressed, tired, when life is just happening, is I'm messy. Clutter just piles up because I'm not thinking clearly. My outer world becomes really what's going on in my inner world. And it's not to the point of either I'm so tired of what's going on inside my head that I start cleaning, or that the outer world is so overwhelming that I start to clean up. And that helps my inner world. And excitingly in 2018, we're going to be talking about things like that. What is going on inside of our minds that is infecting the outside world around us? And what about the things that are going on in our outside world that affect the inside world that's going on? So back to it. So I'm a very cluttered person. So if I said for the year, I'm going to do some extreme goal of there'll be no clutter in our home for more than 24 hours. I will make sure it's knocked out. Or every Sunday, I'm going to declutter my house. Well, that's saying every Sunday I'm going to be in a happy, good mood, that I'm going to have slept great, that I'm going to have a child-free moment to do that, and we're going to be home every Sunday. That's just not realistic. So I want you to sit down and say, what are the goals that I have for me and my family? And what is realistic? Now, we could talk ourselves out of almost every goal. So don't do that. If only 20 to 30% of the time you won't be in the environment that you need to be doing the goal in, or there'll be some cheat days or things like that, then don't stop doing the goal. It's okay. But if you really go, wow, this is actually not realistic, it just sounded cool, or Pinterest showed me this great graphic of how to do it, then you stop and go, why am I doing this? What do I need to prove to myself or others in achieving this goal? I really want my life to be more simple and more relaxed. Things have been so go, 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 and with the loss of my mom, there's been a lot of projects on my family's plate, and so now I kind of want to just be able to breathe and keep things a lot more simple. So I'm going to be looking at really the systems in my home that worked a little bit, but not 100%, and figuring out how to tweak them and setting goals that I then look at every month and go, okay, you guys already know that I do sort of a family meeting or planning on Sunday nights and Monday nights. Those are Sunday night is for me, Monday night is for me and my husband to sit down and sort of talk about our week. That is going to really, it was already a habit, that's going to be something I would take more seriously. Because when life gets crazy, I stop meal planning. That's the first thing that goes. But I need to be doing that meal planning. So Sunday night, I'm going to have an alarm on my phone. And throughout the week, if I think about what I want to go ahead and have for like the next week or two, then I can go ahead and be writing those things down. But Sunday night is the deadline. The meal plan has to be done by then. Another thing is I would love to get back into the month-long meal plan because I have the whiteboard, I have the sticky notes, but I noticed in myself it's just this feeling of, probably like some of you guys, it's a little bit overwhelming. Guys, the sticky notes are already created with the meals on them, and I'm looking at it going, oh, this just feels like a lot to organize. So that is clearly something going on inside of me where the organization is right there, but I feel overwhelmed by it. That system is not working for me right now. So instead of beating myself up and being like, what's wrong with you? You've got the system in place, make it work. It's going to be on hold. And when I feel like, oh, here's an opportunity, it's a great system I already have in place, I'll make it work again. But for right now, Sunday nights will be my deadline to try to do a week or two of meal planning for my family. The other thing I want to be working on with simplifying is looking at the mornings. It's so stressful in the mornings with 2 toddler kids. Oh my gosh, trying to get them out the door. And as much as I try to laugh about it, it really takes a toll on my day if I'm so stressed first thing in the morning. So I want to decrease options that we have in the morning by going ahead and having clothes set out the night before. Our breakfast is already only one item, you can't change that, but I might go ahead and have the bowls out and everything ready, just bring the yogurt and the granola at the very end. So I want to look at some ways to just make the morning smoother. And this is my big one, I need to start waking up at the same time every day, no matter how bad the night was. And that is a goal that I want to look at by, of course, setting an alarm, but really being realistic about my bedtimes and understanding there'll be some mornings where I do hit the snooze button and I don't want to wake up, or I've had a horrible night back to back to back of every 2 hours woken up by one of the kids. And so I am going to struggle to wake up that morning. But I know myself, and I know that having that consistent wake up time every day, the first week or two stinks, kind of like starting running. You just don't enjoy it in the beginning, and then slowly it becomes something you actually really crave and need, and it keeps you going. So let's say you have your goals. You have your things you want to have in place. Look at what needs to have an alarm set on your phone, so you can go ahead and do that. Or a reminder, like mine every Sunday night, meal plan finished, probably will be set for 9 p.m. Go ahead and put those in your phone. That's easy. That's an easy step. If it's something where you're like, well, Katie, I actually kind of have a big goal for the year, then I want you to go ahead and look at January, February, March, April, May, June, July, get it every month, and decide and break it up into chunks how you're going to achieve that goal. If it's by the end of 2019, I want whatever the big frog or project that actually will take months to complete done, then go ahead and look each month. And you can even print out the little month calendars and write down, in January, I want this done. In February, I want this done. But the most important thing is to look at that month and go, do we tend to be really sick that month? Do we tend to travel? Are there a lot of holidays? Like, what's going on? When we talk about purposeful planning, we're doing it with purpose. We are looking at the month and not looking at a blank slate, because it's never a blank slate. That's a big problem with goal setting, is we think the whole year is a blank slate. Oh, every month is a blank slate. It's not. There are holidays, there are travel plans, there are sicknesses, there are things that occur. If you know that that particular month is a tough month, then that part of the project, that broken up segment, needs to be smaller. Needs to be more realistic. If you get more knocked out, great, but be smart about how you are putting expectations on yourself, or you will get fed up and frustrated. Now, once you know, okay, January I want to have this completed, February I want to have this completed, you can break it down even further, and I highly recommend this. The first week of January, here we are, this is what I want to have accomplished. The second week, the third week, the fourth week. And maybe you give yourself a week off in there for, kind of like the leftovers. Make up whatever it is you didn't get completed from the month before, because that's reality. Plan for the things that you know that will occur, and give yourself that grace period of, you know what, I didn't expect March to be so hard, so April, I've got that week that is my week of catch up that I have every month, and that's where I'm going to catch up on whatever goal it might be. So I want you to leave in the comments below, what are the goals that you're setting that maybe you're having a hard time breaking up by month or week, or setting alarms for, or reminders, and let's see if we can kind of chunk it down so that it's more realistic. Lastly, don't set a goal that doesn't make sense to you. Set a goal that aligns with your values and your family's values and just makes sense. When I did the 1,000-kilometer goal, it really just sounded cool. That was the very beginning. It's like, oh, I could do that. That sounds cool. I wanted to show myself I was dedicated and determined. I wanted to really get into running. I was really enjoying it. I had a community and a village and tribe around me doing it too. But it wasn't because it made sense fully. And sometimes goals don't. I got the 1,000 kilometers, yay. But if I look back, I didn't set the goal for the right reason. So make sure when you look at your goals, you can answer to yourself, look in the mirror and say, why am I setting this goal? And then see what answer comes. If it's because it sounds cool, it would be really neat. You're probably not going to stick with it. It's going to be really hard unless you've got accountability around you. Make sure your goals make sense. Okay, I want to hear your questions. Let's set goals that are realistic and uplifting to us and help us to change to be healthier and better chief household officers of our home. And soon I will be announcing where things are going for our community and the Chief Household Officer Academy that will be coming up in March.